guys, I'm Dr. J. Rutland, and welcome back to Medicine Deconstructed. You know, I was in Los Angeles over the weekend with my wife, and although we were having a good time, going to dinners, going out, hanging out with friends, there's a real problem going on in Burbank, and there's a wildfire going on, and it got me thinking about inhalational injury and smoke injury in the lungs and in your body. It's something that we need to pay attention to because it's important. As you remember in one of my first episodes of Medicine Deconstructed, I really focused on the lung. I'm a pulmonologist, and remember, when you take a deep breath in and air travels down this windpipe, the trachea, it breaks down into a right and left main windpipe, which are called bronchi. Those windpipes further break down into little tubes that we term bronchioles, which are surrounded by muscle. Those bronchioles carry the air to a bunch of balloons stacked on top of one another that we term alveoli. Every single cell in the airway is lined with a mucosal type of cell, epithelial lining, endothelial lining. So smoke has to travel down those cells. So when you think about smoke and you think about combustion, one of the main particles involved in that is carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is an odorless gas in the air. And what happens when you inhale that, again, it takes the same direction as air does. It travels through your mouth, through the windpipe, into those balloons through the bronchioles. Once it gets into those balloons, remember those balloons, that's where your oxygen diffuses across a membrane and gets onto your red blood cell. Carbon monoxide will take the place of that and will get onto your red blood cell, so you have less oxygen available for your own body. The symptoms of that include headache. You may have a reduced thought process. You can even become unconscious. So again, if you're surrounded by a wildfire or you're in one of these areas and you start to develop a headache, that is a signal for maybe you are starting to develop carbon monoxide poisoning, and you should be evaluated by a clinical professional. Head to the emergency department or see your local physician because it's treatable. The second type of molecule that you might become in contact with as things burn is hydrogen cyanide. Again, takes the same path as air, travels through those tubes into those balloons. And hydrogen cyanide can bind onto the hemoglobin as well, which is in your red blood cell. And again, there's a treatment for that. That treatment is a little bit more different. It's called hydroxycobalamin. It's just a type of vitamin, basically, that you can take, that we can give you to help the cyanide release itself from the heme-contained products. But again, those are the two main gases that may harm you. Sulfur dioxide is also in the air as well when things are burning. That really is in volcanoes, but that causes a lot of mucosal injury. And again, smoke can cause a lot of mucosal injury, and you get a lot of inflammation. Remember, inflammation is all the white blood cells that come and try to help you. When you have that inflammation in the balloons of your lungs, then those balloons are full of inflammation and not full of air. So you can develop shortness of breath, and people may think that they have a pneumonia when really they have an inflammation type of injury. The treatment is basically the same, but again, we have to think about those things when we're surrounded by areas like Burbank right now, going through this wildfire. All those other molecules in smoke, if you have a history of asthma, it's gonna lead to more of an asthma exacerbation as well. It's gonna bind to that muscle around that bronchiole and cause it to spasm. And you may become more wheezy, and you may need medicines to inhale to help those muscles keep those airways open. Regardless, I want you to be safe. I pray for all the families in the Burbank area that had to be evacuated, but I also want you to be knowledgeable and know what's happening in your lung, in your body when you're surrounded by smoke. Something as small as a headache may be a trigger for you to have an ER visit, and that's okay. Get evaluated. Thanks for watching Medicine Deconstructed, and remember, be better today than you were yesterday. I'm Dr. J. Rutland.